Vaisala's internship program, called the Giant Leap, is a chance for students to manage their own projects over a summer. Today we're going to hear from 3 of those giant leapers about what it was really like. Okay, so maybe let's start with some introductions. Maybe if you could tell us your name, what you're studying or where you're studying, and also what department you're working for at Vaisala. So maybe we'll start with you, Aino.
My name is Aino. I study chemical engineering in Aalto University. I'm mastering in chemistry and materials science. And I have been working for the industrial measurements for thin film chips here in Vaisala.
Okay, Abdul.
Hey, I'm Abdul. I'm currently studying my master's in international design business management from Aalto University, and currently I am working as a giant leaper in product marketing team in weather stations product line.
Thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Sham Al Hamoud and I am studying my master's now in chemical and process engineering in Aalto University. And during this summer I have been working on the optical sensor and measurement team, studying refractometers and calibration liquids for them.
Okay. Thanks very much. So let's start with before you joined Vaisala. So what were your expectations joining Vaisala? What did you know about Vaisala? And maybe how much has that been met? Or what would you say about that, Aino?
Well, I didn't know a lot about Vaisala when I came here. I feel like when I applied, all I knew was that they made measuring instruments. And I was really unsure also if this is completely my league, let's say that, because I study chemical engineering. But after all, especially where I've been working now, studying the humidity sensors, it has a lot to do with material science. And I feel like I have learned a lot here about material science that I would have never learned about at school. So, yeah.
How about you, Abdul?
So about Vaisala, like it's a weather industrial measurement company, but specifically when I came last year to Finland, my minors are in product development. So when I was choosing my company, which company I will do my project, so I came to know Vaisala. So then I started searching about that. So in the end, I'm here. So that's what I know.
How about you, Sham? Did you know Vaisala before you joined?
The only thing that I really knew was that they have some influence in weather stations and in sensors. They measure things.
Yeah. What if you were describing Vaisala now to someone? Now you've been here for a while. How would you in a nutshell describe Vaisala now? Maybe Sham.
I would say that it's a company that well, first of all, it measures and it clearly has an impact on how we're going forward. It sees that we want to reduce the global pollution, and by developing sensors that measure these critical factors such as CO2 emissions and other things that really pollute our environment, we can do that. So different things and very small things add up into a large product. And the way that Vaisala does it is that it measures the environmental factors which then contribute to how we're going to mitigate climate change. So I really see it as a company that sees the future and that looks in a sustainable perspective ahead.
That's really good.
Yes. I'd say also on top of that it has like a very wide range of experts. So it's not only just engineers, but there's a very big marketing and finance side as well. So they have a big variety of different people from different backgrounds, which is really interesting to me because I feel like it's really important to have all this knowledge to mitigate climate change and to affect it. So. Yeah.
How would you describe Vaisala now you've been here, Abdul?
Actually, I will describe Vaisala as a sustainable leader, I would say. And then when you talk like taking every measure for the planet, it's not only like we are talking, we are actually achieving that with our products. So I have been working on some products, so I can truly say that it's not a slogan. We are doing that. So
Okay.
I would say a sustainable leader in the industry.
That's a good bridge to the next topic. So let's now talk about the products or the projects that you've been working on as well. So maybe Abdul, you could continue. Like, give us an insight into actually, as much as you can, tell us what you've been working on over the summer.
So my primarily task was to prepare a go-to-market study for our product, which I will not mention here. So I have been working on that. So and on top of that, I was preparing a go-to-market framework, so then everyone can use it, and then there is no need to build from the scratch every time. So that was my main task, and then one task which I was working by myself, which was not included in my internship objectives, was currently I am preparing a AI agent which can do the go-to-market planning. So you just need to give him some information, which definitely I cannot tell on the camera, but when you will give some information, he can prepare the plan for you.
Exciting. How about you, Sham? What was your project about?
My project was about refractometers, which are optical sensor measurement instruments, and they are used primarily in processes to measure the concentration of liquids. And the way that we use them currently is to monitor the quality of these processes. So this can help us in figuring out if the quality is up to par in order to and they are continuous, so that allows us to measure in real time that if something is wrong in the system, so that we can immediately mitigate it, or if there are any leaks in the system. And so my project was more so about like calibrating these instruments so that they measure accurately the concentration.
Fascinating. And I know.
I was studying how different parameters in the production process of the Vaisala's humidity sensors affect the product, which things lead to a better product. And I actually did find some really good insights in my project that will like start further studies for it. So it's been really, really interesting.
So you must have learned a lot.
Yes, definitely.
How did it feel when you first arrived? Because obviously this is a lot of new things to learn. So when you first arrived at Vaisala, how was that meeting the experts who were already there? I know.
Well, first it was really, really scary because I felt like people are so smart here. They're literally experts. And I was really nervous of that, but everyone was so supportive and open, and they weren't expecting like anything from you. They weren't expecting that you are an expert immediately. They gave you time to learn, and they helped you to learn, gave you different tools to work on your project better, and it gave me really like a space to feel accommodated in the environment.
Yeah. How about you, Abdul? How was that for you?
So when I came first day was quite tough, because like as we know, like I didn't had any technical background, so it was very difficult to study the technical product informations. But then after that, my team was really collaborative. He helped me a lot, as I know said everyone was like really open to help. So and after first month I spent quite intensive time on researching, and all of a sudden after next month there was no one in the office. So I think it was the best time when we went deep into our projects, and then when everyone came back we had something to present. So I would say in that sense it was quite interesting journey, like ups and down, like from a lot of persons in the team, and then there was no one, and then suddenly there was everyone again. So that was like a good learning opportunity for me. And then if I describe, I would say my team, they are asset smartest people. I would say there was big pressure on me as well to perform well, but then they spot it in the meantime, and now we have like developed something really useful.
Yeah. How about you, Sham?
Well, as everyone else mentioned, like my first day, I was quite intimidated. I mean, I'm faced with all these experts. I sat with them on lunch, and they spoke in in language that I could not understand. But as I got along with, or as I spent more time over here, I started understanding their hieroglyphy and their secret language. And but I would also have to say that like they were very supportive in a sense, because a lot of my project was more so reliant on like building up things, and then when I would decide on doing something, I would have to ask for information. And the fact that like I could ask someone for help, and they would be very willing to help and even accommodate and give me a presentation on how a certain measurement instrument works, that really helped in progressing the work forward. And it kind of taught me that I need to do the same for someone else who would come. If someone would need help, I have to show them as well, because this is how the culture is in Vaisala.
That's a good bridge to talk about culture, because I think you're talking there, it sounds like it's not just your own manager who's supporting you, but maybe a culture of helping each other out. Is that something that you've experienced, would you say?
Yes, very, and quite evidently, because a lot of my work contained or required experts in different fields. So depending on what I would need, my supervisor would not necessarily have the best information. So he would guide me to someone who would know better about this topic. And then from there on, I would ask them and they would show me about it. And if they didn't know, they would guide me to someone else. But everyone was very helpful. Or if they couldn't provide you with the information, they would tell you about someone who definitely has the information for you.
Like a network of support, maybe.
Basically, networking was quite strong in this in Vaisala.
Yeah.
Yes, where I sat in my office, there was actually like 2 teams. So majority of my own team was on summer leave, on vacation. And even though I wasn't kind of part of the other team, I felt a lot of like support and you know, they were cheering for me. And when if there were any equipments not working and they didn't even know how to fix it, they might have an idea. They always were down to come with me to the lab to see it, and then we could like troubleshoot it together. So everyone was really nice, and also always inviting for lunches, even if I wasn't working directly with them with their own project, but they just wanted me to feel included in the whole like culture. It was super nice.
That's great to hear. How about you, Abdul?
So, sorry, what was the main question?
It's about the culture and about how did you feel that sort of supportive culture from even not just your direct line manager, but also from the kind of people around you? How do you feel about that?
Actually, as the nature of my project was not, limited to my team, so it was really broader. The implementation was really broader. So I approached different teams from Vim to Weathers and everyone like from Lidar. So they all were really collaborative and they tries to, help me. And then
You reached out to me as well.
Reached out to you as well from branding perspective. So that was, in that sense, it was quite interesting. And then if I talk about my culture, I'm from Pakistan. So the hierarchical culture in Pakistan is totally different as in Finland. So it is my first job in Finland. So if I describe the difference between that hierarchical culture to Finland, which is quite big, because then in that hierarchy I cannot approach like different people, especially from top
in Pakistan.
In Pakistan I cannot approach high level managers so easily that I can do now. In Vaisala I approach different managers and then they were all happy to help me. So that was quite, I would say, unique learning for me, which will definitely help me boost my career in Finland, because it was a kind of a cultural kind of stereotype or cultural barrier as well. So thanks to Vaisala that gave me opportunity to learn that deep from the experts.
Sounds like it could have been quite a surprise to you. So maybe we'll think about that. So has anything about this surprised you? If you think of something specific that was a surprise, what do you think? Sham, do you have anything in mind?
maybe let's go around.
Well, I could say what surprised me was that I am more capable of doing things that I didn't know I could be. I'm actually really proud of how I managed to do my own project. When I first came here, I was really insecure on my own skills, and maybe I felt not as skilled as the people who've been working here for such a long time. But during the summer, I was just learning so much, and I remember, for example, programming, like writing Python or some coding, would have been something I could have never imagined doing, and I did it. I don't know how, but I just learned to do it, and I'm so proud of that. So that was probably surprising. I surprised myself.
So for me, the surprising element was I have to lead my own project, which was not surprising, but I knew before applying. But when I applied that, as a project manager of my own project, it was something really unique that I didn't did any, in my student career, because like in universities, I participated in different projects. Those were like group projects, although they were with the real industry, but here I was, like only responsible person for everything. So that was a unique learning how to lead a project in short time with the challenges, and then you have to cope up with by yourself, So that was a unique and surprising factor for me. I was not thinking that it could have been so difficult, but it is not easy, I would say, when you lead your own project, specifically in that time frame, like 2.5 months, I would say. So that was a surprising element for me. And then after that, the branding, the colors, those were really attractive. I would say like orange is my favorite color.
We can see that. Yeah.
So I have a lot of jackets, and then when I came here, I suddenly feel included, and I like same energy. So that was something surprising for me. Not every brand have their own colors. So.
I mean, maybe we could phrase it like this, Sham. Was it surprising how much responsibility you had for your project?
Yes, yes, I have to admit, I was quite intimidated at the start, and especially because it's a completely new topic for me. And just trying to figure out how the optical sensors work and how they relate to my project, and making or connecting the dots when I was doing the project. In addition to that, like I had to learn a lot of things, a lot of the things which I didn't even know before I came here, and some of them did work, some of them did not work, and even with the fact that they did or did not work, I was still able to collect a huge amount of data, which impresses me now that like I look back at the project of mine, like where was I when I started 3 months ago, and when now, like a completely different person, I have to say.
Well, let's build on that. So when you say that, obviously some of that is like technical skills or knowledge, but how else would you say that the summer has helped you grow on a sort of personal level even?
I have to say that I'm a lot more confident in my skills, because at the start, like I have worked a lot as a research assistant, or I have worked as a teaching assistant, but working in the industry, understanding what the industry needs are, and how you can optimize your work so that it matches that, because not everything that you're going to think about is going to be something that the industry perhaps needs, and in that case you have to kind of like put your own personal interests aside, even though you can explore them, and focus on like what the project wants, and setting this as the priority. So with that in mind, you're able to kind of like set better targets, that even though you technically don't have a target, I mean, you come over here and you're given this topic, and they tell you you have 3 months to get something out with this idea in mind. When you have this goal ahead of you and you see it, even though it seems very far-fetched, you're able to work and build to it.
That's great. How about you, Aino? How have you grown over the summer?
I'd also say that the confidence in myself has definitely grown on my own skills, and just trusting that I can do something, even if it at first seems something even impossible to do. for example, in the summer, one of the challenges was that some of the measuring equipment was not working, and then everyone was like on vacation. So I just had to go there and just, try to problem shoot it. I had some basic knowledge behind it, and I sat there, I got to know the equipment, and I was thinking logically what could cause this. And I got to fix it, and I knew what was wrong, and I could make it to work. And that gave those gave me the confidence that I can actually problem shoot things and get be good at problem solving even. So I'd say definitely that, because previously I would have probably just been like, I don't know, I'm just a student. I don't know how to do this. I'm just a student. So, someone else can handle this. But now I have more trust in myself that I can at least try.
Actually, I can add up to that, because we had a toolbox in my lab, and I am not the type of person who likes working with tools and all of these things. But I realized that with the equipment that I was using for measurement, there was something that was clearly going wrong. And I asked Nilo, who would usually help on these things, but he was busy. So I eventually just picked up the tools and started seeing for myself. And this would previously be intimidating, because what if I do something wrong? But having the confidence of being like, no, but I will get this right. That's something that you don't come with. That's something that you build up by seeing that you've actually done something right.
Yes.
I would say it was very fast. We didn't have the time to reflect. It was quite fast, and when I joined, I was calculating the days I had. So if we exclude some holidays and then some weekends, and then on top of that, when our team will not be there, so it was, I would say, 1.5 months. So I would say I learned a lot how to take responsibility. Before that, as said, as a students, we didn't have that factor. You are responsible for your own project and then the outcome. So in the beginning it was quite difficult, but now I am, as said by everyone, we are way more confident than before. We know how to take responsibility, and then we know how to deal with the new problems every day. So very much confident.
Okay, and then maybe one last final question to think about is you're coming to the end of your Giant Leap time now. There'll be some new Giant Leapers starting next year. So if you were going to give them some advice when they're starting out, what would be the things you would tell them when they're in their first few days or weeks? I know.
I'd say ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more confidence you build behind your own knowledge, and then trust yourself. After you've asked questions, you have the knowledge, you can trust yourself, you know this, and you are not just a student. Like, you have the capabilities of conducting this project on your own, doing this project on your own. And all the past Giant Leapers have done it, so you can do it as well. Just trust yourself. Yeah.
So my suggestion will be same: ask questions, and I can share my one of my example from my team. So don't afraid to ask even dumb question as well sometimes, because you are new into the industry, you are new into the team, and you are new into the thousand of product family company. So I asked my team member that, do you have competitors go-to-market plan? We went too much deep into the topic, but then we didn't think about what to ask. So then I said, I asked everything, but after that, when I analyzed what I asked and what they answered, I knew that now I need to do that. So don't afraid to ask questions. They will lead you to the right direction. If you will not ask questions, you will waste your time, and then you will waste everyone's time as well. So in the beginning, I would say ask everything that you want to ask. Don't afraid of asking, and people here are very cooperative and they will not judge you. So be open, ask questions, and then one suggestion would be prepare a little bit before joining. This will definitely help you when you will start the real Giant Leap project.
How about you, Shan? What's your advice to next year's Giant Leapers?
Well, in addition to asking questions, I also want to emphasize, try to have fun with your project. Like, approach it as like your own little child or like project where like you want to see the results before anyone else, and that will motivate you to work on it. Like given how free or how relaxed the system is, if you don't see it as like your own project or something that like really shows your talents and what you're capable of, you're not going to take it seriously. So you, of course, like working in Vaisala is really fun. The company culture here is very very supportive, which makes the days feel very relaxed, but at the same time, you know you're getting some outcome and some results from your project. And that's why, like, for me at least, I see my own project as my own child that I want to see grow.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to, after the summer, definitely going to miss the sensors. I've been just thinking, like, I hope they don't throw them away immediately.
No, because like for instance, with me at least, like for propositions for the new work that I'm writing now for the report, I have so many ideas that I could have done during the summer, and that I, for some reason or another, couldn't do. Like I didn't have time. Some of the chemicals that you would need to use for testing, such as sodium hydroxide, you would need someone present, and I was alone in the lab, so I couldn't do it. But I want to see the results of these things, so I will be writing it so that the next person who takes on this project can see it and be like, okay, she recommended this next.
Leaving your mark. That's great. So yeah, one final thing. If you could summarize your Giant Leap experience in one word, what would it be? Let's start with Aina. What's the word that comes to mind?
Growth.
I would say it's a great and difficult question. You are saying like summarizing my 3 months in one word.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I asked.
I would say for me, it was unique.
Unique. Growth, unique, and Sham, one word.
Educative or eye-opening.
You picked two, but we'll let you get away with it. So yeah, thanks very much for your time. I think we're going to wrap up here. So hopefully the Giant Leapers next year will get a lot of value out of this discussion. And congratulations on getting through an amazing summer of Giant Leap projects. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for inviting us.